right, let's see how we go. D2 is there. Line it up. Look at that, we have lights. Hello, I'm Robin Vincent and welcome to Molten Modular. Today I'm back in the DIY corner looking at another Befaco / Rebel Technologies module. This time it's called the Klasmata. It's a single channel Euclidean algorithm trigger generator thingy. It's got this algorithm inside, right, that goes, it triggers stuff, sends out triggers and interesting patterns. Euclidean, all about some old Greek guy. Very interesting, fascinating, the sort of thing you can run into percussion or you could use for gating sequences, very interestingly. And it's certainly something that I'm looking forward to getting into my rig. So this one, if I can find the front panel, here we go. It's not too big. Just a single line of stuff. I do like what Befaco have done with these front panels. I mean, they are not the usual black metal that we've become accustomed to. These are actually made of PCB material, but nice. I like the silveriness around the knobs and in the inlays here. Good stuff. So this should be simple enough. What's that? 5 knobs, 5 patch sockets. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing at all. And this isn't really the third Befaco kit I've tried recently. The other 2 are in bits because I haven't quite worked because I've broken something. But I will finish those later. This one is going to go all the way through in an hour. Bish bosh bash, all done, no worries, and it will work first time. This is going to be awesome. Are you ready? So let's have a look at the kit then. So PCB, I looked at that already. Instructions. There are no instructions online as yet, at least at the time of making, because these are still quite new. So hopefully the ones they've sent me are alright. I know that these do tend to get updated relatively quickly once a couple of people have built the kits, because it just, you know, there's always little amendments to do. And I'm sorry about the cockerel. Thank you. So, bag of bits. There's my 5 knobs. There's bag A with resistors, capacitors, all that kind of bits and pieces in there. More of those knobs. Patch sockets and a switch and some LEDs. Right, easy, no bother. Let's get on with it. So, some things are not obvious yet. Okay, same stuff on the top of there, so nothing special it says at this particular point other than opening the bag, getting on with the resistors, diodes and then IC holders. Cool. Right, let's just have a little look and then I'll just skip to the time lapse and you can watch me fast speed my way through a bunch of soldering. Hang on. I got one stuck in here. Got it. Right, so those are going to be transistors. That's I've got a couple of chips there. Some capacitors. Put those out of the way. There's the diodes. Some kind of 3-pronged something or other. That's a clock, I think. I don't know. Right, let's see how we go. Let's get my resistors together first. So I should have 6 of the green, brown, black, red browns. Right, let's have a look. Green, brown, black, red browns. Yep, that's 6. So that's 51. Okay. I should have 5 brown, black, brown. Yes, those are 1K. Should have 4 brown, red, black, orange, brown. Yeah, 20K. 3 brown, black, red, brown. Yep. 10K. And then 2 100 that have orange, and 2 1 meg which have yellow. So these two looks like yellow to me. That's 1 meg. That's an orange, so that's a 100k. Didn't I have 100k already? No, that's 10k, so that's 100k. And then the single of 100. Great, alright, so I will put those in and solder them, and I'll see you on the other side. Simple enough. Resistors done. That's good. Next on to the diodes, which are these two chunky bits here, with the line on to indicate, oh I don't know, that's the blockage. Can't go that way, only goes that way. And on the board on the silk screen you should find the D1 and D2 also have a line on, and that's what you put it going towards. Easy, easy peasy. So D1, D2, that way around. Give them a tug. D2 is there, line it up. Easy. Let's get those in before we do the IC holders. Right, IC sockets. I've got 2 of them, big one and a small one. So IC1 is there, IC2 alongside. Should not be a problem. All you've got to do is make sure the nick at the front goes onto the nick on the silk screen so it's in the right orientation. So it's there. So that doesn't actually say on the silk screen. Ooh, wow. So, I mean, by the process of elimination then, because there's no nick on this side, I'm going to assume that number 1 is up this end. No notch. No notch. Silk screen is incomplete. Notch is facing up out of the board. Look, it says so. Good job. Well done for catching that one. So it goes like that. The notch is at the top. Notch is there. On there. No bother. Just going to flatten it with a soldering iron. Put some solder onto one leg. Hold it down so it's flat. When I release it, I'll do the same on the bigger one. Hold it flat. Make sure it's really flat as I release it. Give it a quick look. Yeah, that's all nice and flat. Now I can do the rest. Do an opposite corner first. Good stuff. Those are in. Let's to the next page. Capacitors. What on earth is a capacitor? Well, we've got 3 of the 104s. Those ones there. I've got 2 10 microfarad electrolytics, and I've got 1 this weird 160 kind of clock resonator thing. So let's put those in. And then C2. Now with these, the long leg is positive, the negative is marked on the barrel, the line is on the shorter leg, so long leg positive find the positive, C2 there, goes in. This one, is it C4? Yeah, C4, there's a positive, long leg positive, that goes in like that. And then this weird resonator thing. It's not weird, I don't mean to give it a complex by telling people that it's weird. It's just I've never come across these before until I did these Befaco Rebel Tech kits. Right, okay, so now I've got these nicely bent legs to put into something. Y1, which is here, doesn't have an orientation, so it can just go in like so. So they should all solder in nicely. Then I've got these transistors. Transistor time. These three fellas. These go in, three of them, Q. Now these go, they follow the picture. So you see the shape of the transistor. That shape follows the shape on the board, which is very useful. So I've got Q301 there, it goes that way around. Like that, spread out a couple of legs. This one goes behind it, the other way around. Like so. And the last one down the bottom end. Follow the silk screen. Easy peasy. Then this weird regulator thing, IC3. Over here, needs to have its middle leg pushed back a little bit. But again, follows the shape on the print. Looks every bit like a transistor. Like so. Easy peasy. Put them in, then we're on to the next bag. Oh, we're shooting through this one. Excellent. Simple. Getting there bit by bit. Right, bag B. Put my chips to one side. Try not to forget to put them in at some point. Bag B, we've got some patch sockets, some LEDs and a power connector. I think the power connector goes next. So the power connector goes on the back, so on here, that way around. Okay, now previously I've attempted to do this with a piece of blue tack just to hold it in place. I'm going to try that again, so that might work. But either way, I will put in a single leg. Then have a look at its straightfulness. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm going to go with that. That's a first. I'm usually having to adjust these things like a crazy person. You've got to be careful when you're soldering on the other side of the board, because you might just lean your soldering iron against something and end up melting it, which is not a good thing. Not a good look for a component to be melted. There's a funny one, and I'm getting a bit of a short in the middle there, I think. Yeah, so those two are brilliantly fused together. Oh, that's a bit better. bit too much solder on there. That'll do. That'll do. So with front panel components, so I've got talking about putting this on. These will go on this side. I can't believe that's all the components. Just got to put the hardware on. So it's going to go like this, I believe, or the other way up. So nice and easy. Not even having to turn it upside down. I think I will at this point put the chips in. No, I won't. I'll do that in a minute. No, I'll do it now. No, I'll do it in a minute. No, I'll do it now before this gets too crowded in here. Right, good idea. So we've got the 8-pin one here. I've got a little tool which I use to squish the legs, which makes the legs fit much better and more directly into here without having to bend them. So this circle on there tells me which is pin 1, which goes to the notch or the nick or whatever it is one calls it, and I squeeze that in. Easy. This is the big chunky one. The Atmega, and that pokes, it's got a notch at the front as you can see, and that pokes all the way to the front. That should, ouch, squeeze in there. Yeah, nice. That's in. Good. Thank you. So don't solder anything. Just put them in and then put the front panel on. That's what we're going to be wanting to do. So first of all, the mini jacks. Don't solder. So all of the jacks go into this row here. And you've got usually two together and then a single one. See this twangy one here? These are the two that go together. Put that one in first, and it kind of creates a little bit of tension with which to hold the other one in. Like that. And it holds it all in, he says. There we go, that's in. So put that throng in, and then it goes, that one there. No, got that wrong, like that. Yeah, pushes in. Then this last one seems to be the other way round because that's where the two together is. That doesn't make any difference to it as a whole. So that's those in. Remove the washers and screws from the switch. And then the switch goes there. Does it matter which way round it goes? No, it does not. So that goes there. And then the pots, which are in this bag. These go into, there's a group of 3, and then 2, they go all the way up here. If we get those 3s in first, we should be able to. My luck with pots has not been good at the moment. That should go in nicely. So put it in 3, and then waggle it in the other bit, and it just goes in nice and solid. So far so good. One more. Go on. Yes. Got them all in. That's extraordinary. Extraordinary. Then you've got 2 LEDs. Now the LEDs of course are polarized, so you're getting the right way round. On the screen print, it's not entirely clear, but on the instructions it says the square pad indicates the negative side and the long leg is positive. Long leg is positive. On here there's a square and a circle pad, so the square one negative, so the long leg goes into the round one. And on the other one, the long leg goes into the round one. Great, good. Now we've got to put the front panel on. Which way around is that going to go? Going to go a bit like that. Do the pots need to have anything on? It doesn't say that they do, so they should all line up together. I might have to put something, place a nut on each. Yeah, okay, on each of the pots. I've got twice as many nuts than I need. Okay, good. So okay, we need to put a pot, need to put a nut on each pot because they need to get the same height as all the other components. Good, like that. This goes on over the top. Sweet. Now that goes flat down there, no problem. Yeah, flat on the other side, more or less. Okay, so mini jacks, I want to secure those first. Wonder what's in and what's out. We've got 4 black and 1 red. Red, I think, is the bottom one. Okay. And black all the way up. So we shouldn't have to remove this front panel unless something is broken. So we can put all of the screws on to make sure that everything is nice and tight when we do the soldering. Now I'm going to use a special Befaco tool to tighten up these banana nuts over here. Okay, everything's in, everything's fairly secure. Not the LEDs, I'm going to do those in a minute, but I will solder everything else. As best I can. Right, that's everything in except for the LEDs, which pop into their little holes. But what you want to do is, I don't want them sticking out all the way through, I just want them flush. So to do that, you take a little bit of tape, put that across the top, bring these up so they meet and stick to the tape, hopefully without sticking through. And then give them a solder. Just going to do one leg for the moment because I've messed this up before. No, they look beautiful. Beautiful they do. Finish those off. There we are. Done. Well, kinda. I haven't done the knobs yet. I'm going to put the knobs on once I'm sure it's actually working. So I'll plug it in first, knowing that I won't have to take it apart. Yeah? So power connector ribbon. This line represents the -12, which is the red line. So that goes like that. Red line down to there. Good, let's plug it into something, see if we can get something out. Right, we're over here to plug in the Klasmata. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. This is off. We'll plug it into here. I might just secure it with a couple of screws. So that I can plug things in and out a bit easier. So we're looking for lights. That's what we want. Lights. Lights. Okay, nothing so far. So what I'm going to assume at this point is that it's going to need a clock. So let me find a clock from somewhere. Over there. Oh, it's not going to reach. That's a longer clock. Now, the instructions or the manual for this is actually pretty light. It talks about things, doesn't really point out what anything particularly does. Says it offers a range of 1 to 32 steps, possibilities, complex patterns. They're identical to the Stoichia. Okay, so in that case, well, what do you reckon? This looks like a clock in. Let's just put it in something and see what happens. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, let's try it in the next one. Let's try it in the bottom one. Okay, there we go, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. We have lights. We have lights. Now, is it actually doing anything or achieving anything? That's going to be our next question. Bring you in just a little bit around so we can see. So we've got these two flashing things going on. That seems to be off. That seems to be on in one way, on in another. So we need two things to trigger. Well, I happen to have a hi-hat over here. Maybe that's a good place to start. Let's see what I can get out of this. So let's take something out that we think might be a trigger. This one. Okay, that's certainly something. Let's take, what do we think might be another output? Oh no, that is flashing for the clock coming in. This, I think, is our only output. That, I think, is what's going on. Interesting. Okay, I'm not planning on doing some kind of big demo on this. I'm going to get together the Klasmata and the Stoichia, which I have here, and do a bit of a Euclidean rhythms sort of video. I think at this stage I'm just trying to test that it's working, just to get a simple idea. Now I need something else to be working so that I can run this with it. I think is what I need to do at this point. Oh, now we're talking. The Klasmata then, yeah, so that was sounding interesting. As I say, I've never messed around with Euclidean patterns before. I mean, I get the idea, certainly, seen it around a lot, certainly, but I haven't actually got around to using it myself. Now, the last thing we need to do is put these knobs on. Now, what I'm finding, these knobs are a little bit tough. It's either that they're too small, it's just slightly, or that the knobs are too big, one or the other, but I mean they do fit on. You get it lined up. You just got to, ouch, just got to give it a oh, that's too far. Just got to give it a little bit of a squeeze. Actually, these ones much better. Okay, maybe it's just a stoichia problem. But they are tough to get on, I would say. And of course, you've got all the sticky outy bits on the underside pushing back at you. Push those on. Ow. God. Ah. So yes, that's a happy thing then. Very happy. Happy thing. Nothing like getting the imprint of your own soldering indelibly marked onto the palms of your hands. Okay, so the top and the bottom ones go on really easy. It's those middle ones. Those middle ones are not so good. Maybe if I push down on a flat surface. Oh no, I've got that switch. I don't want to break that. Maybe that way. I don't know. Anyway, let's hope we don't ever have to take them off. Yeah, no, those two in the middle are going to stay slightly proud, I think is the word. But nevertheless, it's there now. So the Klasmata, there we go. So it was a relatively simple build. The soldering doesn't take very long at all. Knobs are a bit of a nastiness, and then it's just a matter of working out what the heck all these bits do. Because although the instructions are there, they refer to the other one. To the stoichia, which I have here. I'm also doing a video on that in case you haven't seen it. And that's fine, it's just that obviously the knobs and everything are in a different sort of places. So I'm going to have to sit the two together to work out what is doing what. I mean, those seem to be doing the same thing, but then I've got two other knobs. Sounds like the chickens have gone nuts next door. And also the labelling, is that slightly different? I don't know. Suffice to say, it requires a little bit more investigation. So I'm going to do, once I've finished all of these Rebel Technology modules, I'm going to do a video on how to use them, what the heck they are about, because they're all sort of on a similar theme of pattern generation and Euclidean patterns and triggering and bits and pieces. So I think it'll be interesting to do a video on how you actually get around to using them. But I think just from my tiny little fumbling demo that you can see that this is a rhythm generator and an interesting one. And that's going to be incredibly useful either for triggering percussion or for triggering gates or for triggering guns for blowing off the head of cockerels. You know, all these things are potentially possible, I think. So there's the Klasmata. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to get on with finishing off this one now and then get on with the other kits as well. And in the meantime, go and make some tunes.